So for the AnyCable infrastructure, here's what I have in mind. We're going to have two different Heroku apps, one for the clipshow.io hostname, and this is where the Rails app will be hosted, and we'll have this made up of web dynos and worker dynos. And then we'll have a separate Heroku app in the same pipeline for the AnyCable instance. And what this will allow us to do is we'll have this hosted on its own domain here separately from the Rails app. And then this will be made up of a dyno that just runs AnyCable. This will allow us to scale the web dynos horizontally and the worker dynos horizontally in any request that's being made to the Rails app. And the same thing with AnyCable. If we run into situations where we need to spawn more AnyCable processes, if we get to that point, we can do the same thing here as well. So how this will work is requests from the outside internet will go to the Heroku load balancer, and requests will sit there until a process or thread opens up to come and collect the request and process it. So in Rails, anytime we're processing one of our requests, a thread is taken up. And this is the entire reason why we want to use AnyCable, which is something that is a lot cheaper to keep concurrent connections open with. AnyCable is using Go under the hood, and Go's concurrency model is very lightweight compared to what Ruby can offer in the equivalent here. So it allows us to have this type of infrastructure where on a very cheap dyno, we can have a lot of concurrent connections handled with just setting up a few services like this. So requests will come into the load balancer, and it will sit in the load balancer until one of the web dynos has a open availability to take and process that request. And this is important for handling our WebSocket connections initially, because the AnyCable instance will make a request to the Rails app to authenticate this user given either their cookies or other authentication method. And then if Clipshow returns that that user is authenticated, AnyCable will keep a reference to this connection and will subscribe to any events on the channel in the shared Redis instance here that Rails and AnyCable will be set up to use. For that initial HTTP request from the AnyCable side of things to the Rails side, we're going to use a authentication token to make sure that only requests made with this authentication token that matches what's stored server side for both instances matches. Although I have the arrow going to the load balancer here, making it seem like it's not exposed from the outside internet, this will be treated like a regular HTTP request. It just so happens that these are both going to be hosted on Heroku's network. And if we are going to use this kind of infrastructure, this is likely what that request will look like to keep it internal.